Is your Tampa Bay really crashing?
Is the market really crashing?
Are we just jumping on this board of the crashing market? Maybe grab your favorite real estate app that you like to use that could be overpriced. Grab a notebook because I'm going to guarantee you we're going to save you thousands. Today, we're going to talk about the crash of the housing market. We're also going to talk about mid-2025. Is it a time to sell? Right now, we're in the summer market. We're going to share top 15 tips that are going to be valuable for you. And nonetheless, we got the beautiful Tamily Abdo here today with all the best insight. Welcome, Tamily.
Hi, thank you for having me. And you heard it here first. We're here to share some valuable insight on what to expect in 2025, selling your home and market updates. And most importantly, is the market really crashing?
You know, why don't we go off our episode with one of the first questions, and let's talk about the real deal. Is the market crashing?
I think it's definitely a hot topic and a buzzword that's going around. But when we're looking to where we are in 2025 as to where we were back when the market did crash in 2008, we're nowhere near that. What we're really experiencing right now is a price correction. And what do I mean by price correction? We had a lot of pent up demand post-COVID, and that really accelerated pricing here in the Tampa Bay area and most of the country. And now what we're experiencing is a decline or a deceleration of that pricing that we saw with the pent up demand. So now that we're heading into that price correction, we're starting to see that we're increasing inventory in our market area. Days on market are taking a little bit longer. Average, you're seeing probably over 45 days in most of the areas now. And we're seeing a lot of homes taking a little bit longer to sell. So that is currently what's actually happening versus the hype or the scare tactic of that the market is crashing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. So before we go into our next question, which is number 2, we're going to take a pause and we're going to do a market update, right? And right now, where we're based out of, it is Hillsborough, Pinellas, and Pasco County. So we want to share some insight for you guys very, very specifically. So before we dive in, Hillsborough right now, medium home pricing is $433,222. That is 3.6 year over year. Inventory right now is at 49,000 homes in the market, which is also an increase from last month at 4.3%. And right now, it looks like it's a very neutral market. I can tell you probably from looking at a lot of MLS and having a lot of conversations with our team, we're probably falling on the shorter side of buyers, and there's probably a lot of increase on the seller side. What do you think about Hillsborough?
What do I think about Hillsborough and what's happening in the market in Hillsborough or in overall? I think what we're experiencing, like he said, a neutralized market where more conversations are happening between buyers and sellers, but we are definitely entering into a buyer's market just because the leverage is going over to the buyer side. With more inventory steadily increasing and entering the market, there is going to be more choice and more availability for buyers to choose from. And when that happens, it's supply and demand 101. There's more inventory, there's more conversations, there's more leverage, and then more opportunities for our buyers to negotiate better terms. But for our sellers, don't fret, don't get nervous or anything like that. Right now, it's still a great time to sell if that's the situation and circumstance that's for your family. You just need somebody on your side that's going to definitely help you strategize on pricing, what's happening with the market, and how you can still protect your bottom line and get that home sold in a timely and the most profitable that you possibly can within this type of market.
Yeah, what I could add on to that, what I could tell you definitely in Hillsborough, we're seeing a stabilized market. So those old days of like pricing your house high and getting lucky and selling it, that boat has been gone, has left dock, and you are stuck in the island in a hotel because that house is not going to sell. So it's about pricing your house smart, correct? And it's not about, from a seller perspective, about getting lucky.
Yeah. The days where you can stretch that pricing strategy and try to gain a little bit more equity, it's definitely, we don't have the demand anymore for that. So definitely partner with a realtor that's going to update you on what's the most current stats of what's happening within your neighborhood, within your county, within your area, because I mean, this market that we're in now is completely different than where we were at 7 months ago. So somebody that's definitely in tune with what's happening with pricing, what's happening with buyer confidence, and how we're moving forward is definitely going to save you money, because you do not want to leave money on the table and starting your home, pricing it at a higher, hoping to negotiate, or, you know, thinking that you're creating a little bit of a cushion for you. It's actually hindering you, and it's making that gap of protecting your net wider. The longer a home stays on market, the less appealing, and it loses value every day that it stays on the market. So you want to make sure that your pricing strategy is congruent with what's happening with the market, what you're seeing when you're entering the market, who you're competing with when you're entering the market, so that you could be the first one to go versus sitting there and hoping that somebody brings you an offer based on what you feel you could get.
Absolutely. So let's talk about Pinellas. Last year, Pinellas was a victim of a couple surges, and it happened like back to back within 1 year, which we often don't see in our market or in Pinellas, to be honest with you. So the median house price right now in Pinellas County is $411,417. That is up year over year at 0.7. Inventory year over year is up 50%. So there's a lot of homes that are going up for sales. There's a lot of people who are scared, who don't want to rebuild, and they're looking at actually moving a little bit inland instead of being really close to the water. So that has a lot to take on there. So homes in Pinellas County are absolutely spending a lot more time in the market right now.
There's more options. There's more homes being put for sale because of that, just because of either the damage that they've occurred from the surges, from the storm, and afraid of another set of storms coming back in and causing more havoc than what they've experienced this past year, which is unfortunate.
Absolutely. Pinellas is absolutely flooded with homes. If you're looking at selling in the Pinellas County, you have to price smart. There's no question about that. You have to be very aggressive about the pricing strategy, the marketing strategy that you're going to put in your home. Otherwise, that home is going to wind up staying there for a long time and is not going to help you. It's going to create a lot of frustrations for you. So a lot to think about there. Let's go into Pasco. That's our hometown we're based out of. Medium home price is $340,000. That is up 2.9 year over year. Homes are sitting longer. Average days on market right now are 46 days. I don't think that's really bad right now, considering that today's market, but I guess it's a lot longer than today. I don't know, maybe I'm biased, but I think there's a lot of new builds that are coming in here. We know that Two Rivers is coming here. There's a couple lagoons, which people are loving to hang out with their family. I'm a fan of Pasco County, but what's your take on Pasco?
I think, overall in the Tampa Bay area, you're seeing the increase of inventory, you're seeing an increase on days on market, and medium price ranges are fluctuating depending on where there's more supply. So just being cognizant of what you're looking at and who you're partnering with to make sure that you, one, strategize and get all the facts and data correctly, and then of course followed up with a super smart, extensive marketing plan, because at the end of the day, you want as many eyeballs as you possibly can so that you could get that home sold.
So Pasco is definitely cooling down, but I think you definitely, if you're looking to sell, we need to make sure we put a right package in for you guys to make sure you sell that home. Question number 2. Why are buyers still moving to Tampa Bay despite the market shift?
Why are people coming to Tampa? Is it because of our awesome beaches that we have here? Is it because of the development boom that's happening with new builders, new developers into the area? We've got some really great communities being built within Tampa Bay, lagoon communities, surfing communities, trails upon trails. So I think Tampa is definitely one of those growing cities where it's attracting a lot of people that are in families, young families, because there's a lot to do. But definitely it's attractive to see these huge master plan developments coming into the area. that are going to be offering a lot of recreational activities for people. We definitely have a healthcare, attracting healthcare workers with some of the developments that are coming through Moffett over in Spiros, Florida, which is the Land O'Lakes area, and the community there is Angeline. Like I mentioned, the lagoons, the metro developments throughout the Tampa Bay area, Marata, Epperson, also Angeline, that they're going to be offering these extensive recreational facilities for families and buyers that are going to be developing their homes there. And then you've got communities, Two Rivers, that are doing expansive, golf courses, just lifestyle in general. People are attracted to that, and that is why people are still buying and moving to Tampa Bay.
I mean, Tampa Bay is continuing to grow. They're talking about the Bright Line being extended to Tampa. We don't have a year yet, but that has been the conversation. So imagine from Tampa being able to go to Orlando and being possibly going all the way to Miami. It's pretty impressive, right? You got a lot of big tech companies that are coming in, insurance companies that are coming in. I'm investing into Water Street. Channel side is just amazing.
The whole downtown area.
Downtown is all amazing. It's bringing a lot of creative ideas, and the creators come into it, which is pretty awesome. You see a lot of that boom happening in Pinellas County. Pinellas is always known for their beaches, but their downtown area is really being growing from the creative perspective.
And the food scene here is definitely growing too. There's a lot of great restaurants, a lot of great environments and areas that people are flocking to. I mean, how many Michelin restaurants did we get last year? I think it was like 4. Don't quote us, but we'll do a fact check and put it in the bottom.
Or if you know, drop it in the comments for us.
Yes.
We clearly don't know.
But it's exciting to see that the food scene, the culture scene, just the tech scene, healthcare scene, all of that is definitely helping making Tampa Bay a destination for people to come by and move to.
Yeah, absolutely. I just do want to take a quick pause, and I just want to share some gratitude. If you guys have been so far in this episode with us, I want to say thank you. I do want to let you share with you guys that we are real estate professionals. Tamily is one of the best real estate agents out here.
He's
so
not biased at all.
if you're looking at working with us, there's going to be a QR code right over here. And of course, in the descriptions, you'll have our contact information. Call us, you can text us. There's a couple VIP questionnaires that really help guide maybe some of the questions before you come in to buy. And we're also going to drop a selling guide too, to have you get prepared. And of course, reach out. We do a lot of things with marketing, a lot of CMAs, a lot of information. We live here. This is what we love. This is where we're growing our family. But please do us a favor, get in contact with us, because this is what we make a living out of. All right, question number 3. Is it a good time to sell your home now, or should I wait?
That is a very good question, and oftentimes a loaded one. But the truth is, it's still a good time to sell, and there's not a one-size-fits-all situation. It really depends on your needs, your goals, and what the situation at hand is. So right now, there's still a shortage of inventory slightly. We're seeing an increase, but still
not in
overall.
County. It's over 50% over there.
Regardless, it's still a shortage when you're looking at numbers on the number of homes available to you in conjunction with how many days on market they have been. We're still seeing inventory increase, so there's still a demand out there. There's still serious buyers that are looking for homes as well. So if you're looking for the perfect market, you might miss your opportunity. And this could be the market for you to sell your home. So it's really partnering with an agent that's going to take all of those things into consideration and ensuring that you have an honest pricing strategy, a marketing strategy to make sure that your home is sold, and presenting, again, all the information in order to move that home for you.
I think when you sell your home, there's different reasons why you sell it. If you're trying to predict the market, absolutely the wrong reason why you should be selling your home. The typical reasons is really what's going through your life, right? Is your family expanding that you need more room? Is your family downsizing?
Are you
but you no longer need the space? Do you get a promotion? Are you making choices to go somewhere else? Those are the typical reasons why people often move. And it could be 1, 2, 3, 5 times in a lifespan. So it absolutely varies based on what you're trying to accomplish and what your goals are and what's happening throughout your life. Yep. So if you're trying to time the market, no bueno, don't try doing it. It's super, super hard. Investors are always trying to figure this market out and find out when they do it. And they put a lot of money into to figuring out when that is right now.
You need to sell when the move aligns with your life and what's happening currently in your life, not when the market headlines tell you otherwise.
Question number 4. How do you price your home without, first of all, impacting your net, right? Your bottom line, and honestly, scaring away buyers.
Pricing strategy is definitely an important one. How do you price your home? What are you taking into consideration? There are 3 things that you could do. You can either chase the market and do aspirational pricing, and that typically has a negative effect because you're going to be longer days on market and you're going to start seeing price reductions and you're going to constantly be chasing the market. You can do market pricing where you're looking at the current data, what has sold, who you're competing with, and it's more aligned what's actually happening in the current market, and you should get favorable terms and close to your list or even at list on there to protect your net. And then there's promotional pricing, or if you call it event pricing, where you price it slightly below market value, where you create a lot of demand for it and you're basically trying to get people to bid and have multiple offers come into play so that you can pick the best one from there. So it just depends. If you're really looking to protect your bottom line as much as possible, I highly recommend that you really look at what the market pricing strategy is, or if you want to create and sell quickly and create some demand, then you can do event pricing as well.
So what you find rewarding as far as the price level, that customer may not. And think about it from a buyer perspective. You're going into a house, you're not going to overgive more money to a house, right? Because you're going to go and says, oh, this is what the market says. This is what I'm going to give you based on what the market trend is. Now, if you want to give a little extra because you really like the improvements they wind up doing, that's on you. But most customers are not going to do that, especially as we're going into more of a buyer's market right now. And they're going to be having the leverage of power. And that's what Tamily talked about, pricing your home correctly, right? If you want to make a bidding war, you want to slightly under it. Question number 5. So last year, we were impacted by NAR with some changes that wound up happening. So people are still learning about this new process because we sold a home or bought a home about 5 years ago. You wasn't impacted by this. And back in the day, the one selling the house used to often pay for all the commissions. Now the buyer is coming in and discussing their compensation for 2025, and I actually started last year. But I want to listen to your take of like, what does that look like now?
First and foremost, compensation has always been negotiable. And as of last year, post-NAR settlement, now what's happening is that we are being more transparent and discussing compensation on each individual party. So the listing side will talk compensation with their seller, and the buyer will now talk and discuss and agree to compensation on the buy side. What we're seeing now as we're entering into more of a buyer's market is that a lot of the offers that we're seeing coming in are asking for the seller to pay for compensation. And again, it's totally negotiable. All parties still have to agree, but just so that we can set proper expectations as we're entering this market where the leverage is moving towards the buy side, you are going to start seeing nearly all offers are going to come with some type of a concession, especially with buyer compensation attached to it. So at the end of the day, it's important to have these conversations with your agent and make sure that you go over all the possible scenarios of how offers can come in so that you can be well prepared on how you're going to counter or how you're going to agree based on the full terms of the offer and obviously how it affects your net at the end of the day.
Question number 6. With the market being a little bit slower, does staging still matter?
I think it's important to understand that when a buyer is looking at homes, they're gonna invoke some emotional attachment. They're gonna want to envision themselves. They're gonna want to pretty much imagine what life would look like in that house. And as sellers, we want to make sure that that environment is set for them. So either you have your house situated where it looks great with your current furniture, or you may consider staging or hiring a staging company, or sometimes even we can leverage AI and do some virtual staging so that they can see what's possible with that space and that environment. So first impressions are super important, and if it requires it, a good agent is going to make those recommendations for you, and they should have solutions set in place so that that option could be available to you.
Question number 7. What's one emotional challenge sellers are facing now?
I think what they feel their home should be worth. And that's definitely a challenge when there's a lot of emotions tied to their homes, memories that they've created there. And it's important to detach emotion from the sale of your home and see it in the perspective of a new buyer, what they're trying to do and what they're going to be doing and how they're going to make offers and things like that. So it's important to detach yourself from that and really have clarity in what's happening in the market so that you can set proper expectations on what that is going to unfold when you start selling your property.
I mean, we've sold a couple homes in our lifespan, and there was a house that we had, and the door had, as our kids were growing up, every year we were like stenciling of like how their growth was. I was even almost at a point that I was going to take the door with me, but I didn't. But you know what? That's an emotional value for me. It's not an emotional value for the person coming in to buy their home, because they had their young child and they were looking at making their own memories. And I thought it was a perfect home for them to buy for them. And it was time to move on, and we started our own journey in the new home that we have now. But yeah, there's, as much as that's priceless for me and for us, to be honest with you, we can't add value to that home. They'll probably say like, hey, this door's messed up, there's a bunch of scratches on it, you need to paint this door. But that's just an emotional value that we had on ours. All right, question number 8. What do you tell a seller when they think their home is worth way more than the comps are saying?
It's important to really understand where they're coming from. I think it's really understanding where they're getting that number and that information from. And it's our job to guide them and provide the information so that we can lead to discovery as to what's actually happening in their neighborhood, in the market, and so forth. But really understanding where they got that number from or how they associated that value to it, and then challenging it respectfully, but also keeping in mind the sensitivity when talking in regards to that number. And the goal at the end of the day is for both parties to be aligned and working towards that same end goal. And if it becomes that they have to get that number in order for them to walk away with a certain net, then it's also being transparent with them that maybe it is not the right time for them to sell, and maybe they should hold on to that property for a little bit longer so that they can get closer to that number. You know, at the end of the day, we need to see what their end game is and then piece it together for them and create that roadmap and that bridge so that they can get to where they need to be. So if they're getting that number based on what they need to use to buy their next move, then how do we bridge that together, and how do we get them as close as possible to them and offering options so that they know how to take what they're selling from this house and moving it on to the next. So again, it's lots of questions, really understanding and learning what their motivation is so that you can guide them as best as possible to their end game.
The friendly reminder is that we're working for you, right? So the interest is to make sure we're asking you the right questions, to make sure we're understanding your full needs of what you're trying to accomplish, right? And if we don't have that trust being built with you, there's going to be a lot of assumptions and guessing, and it's not the way that we work, right? We need to find out what's important to you to get you to those goals, right? And sometimes it's the brutal honesty of saying, like, you know, right now is maybe not the best time to sell that home. And that's okay. We could do that for you, right? But it's super important that we are building a rapport with you, to ask you really good questions, to really understand what your game is. And if something's unclear, please ask us, because we want to help and we want to help answer answer those things for you, to make sure there's as much transparency throughout this process for you to help you.
Yep. At the end of the day, we want to offer a solution and provide options so that you can move forward. And the best way to do that is to really create transparency and share as much as you possibly can. Because me personally, like, your goals become my goals, and I want to see what you need and what your goals are met. So the more you share, the more we can align, and the more we can create that path to what it is that you need and want.
We're going to question number 9. And in some markets, we're going to kind of a buyer's market where there's more inventory, or you could say flooded market, kind of like what we're looking at Pinellas County right now, where year over year is 50% growth on sellers. So what's important to make sure their house stands out?
And this is specifically for Pinellas County, since we're seeing an influx of inventory in that area. How can you as a seller position your home to beat out the competition? And here are a couple tips that you can follow. Definitely a recommendation would be doing a pre-listing inspection so that you can identify any areas of opportunity, of repairs, or anything like that that you can address ahead of time. But it also give you an idea of pricing. If you can't fix them, if it's not in the budget, then you can price according to the current condition of that property. If there's any little small updates, like obviously a clean home, a decluttered home, anything that you could get it so it could be show ready is going to help you stand out as well. Effective marketing, starting with photography, making sure that we have professional photography, videography, and that there's a really great marketing plan so that we can get as many eyeballs as possible to the property. And most importantly, again, I know that I touched on it a little bit, pricing. When you have an influx of inventory, especially more homes entering the market in your specific area, you need to see how your entry price point is going to look like and how you're going to beat the competition. So having a real strategy on pricing and being able to convey that so that you can be the one to get picked.
If you want some insight, definitely reach out to us. We'll be happy to pull up some comps for you, do a CMA, and see where your house is scaling right now and pricing, and see right now is the best time or not, right? And we'll be happy to help out. Question number 10. So Tamily, is open houses still effective post-NAR settlement, or just period? Like, what does open houses look like today?
Are open houses effective, and should you be doing them or not? Absolutely, 100%. I think the more opportunities that you get for people to come view your home, then the more interest that you're going to create, and more offers can come in if you get more traffic into that property. So I think right now, post-NAR settlement, this is a non-confrontational way that people can come and view a property without having to sign a buyer agency agreement. So that way, if they are interested, they can take a look, no commitments to anybody. And then if they are serious, then they can get with their agent or with the listing agent and put an offer on that property. So yes, 100%. Open houses are still a benefit to the seller.
Open houses are your best friends, and you should set dates when you get your listing appointments or your home goes live for selling. You should really plan out the month on when you're going to have those open houses, because it's quick shows and people want to get into your home to see if this is what they want to be in. So they're your new best friend. Let's book them.
And the least obstacles to go view a property, the better.
Question number 11. What are the top cosmetic enhancements you could do to your home?
Let's start from the top. Some suggestions that we can offer and that we can suggest is neutral colors. If we can repaint, if you have some vibrant colors that are beautiful to you, but again, we're trying to create an environment where it's going to be most appealing to the buyers that are coming through. So neutral tones throughout definitely can help. Decluttering 100% can help. You can see the space, it's going to be more inviting, and it's going to create, again, that environment and them visualizing themselves in the property. Cleanliness is another great thing. A clean house definitely comes a long way. Some curb appeal, like as soon as you pull up to that driveway, you want to make sure that you're nice and trimmed, shrubbery, everything is all clean, and that should help position you in a better place when you're thinking of quick things that don't really cost too much money.
Question number 12. What are the biggest pricing mistakes sellers are making right now?
I hate to beat a dead horse, but it's overpricing your home. Fantasy pricing is not going to get your home sold. It's just going to put you in a situation where you're going to be chasing the market and you're going to narrow that net profit that you're trying to achieve. So make sure you get with the right agent. Make sure that you set realistic expectations. Don't look at comps from 6 months ago, a year ago. Really look at a narrow search line within what's happening within the last 60 days so that you can really get a good indication as to where you need to be pricing your home.
It's sponsor time, and it's no buying sponsor. It's really just us. So if you're looking for home evaluation in less than 60 seconds, I want you to grab your phone that's right next to you, because you're probably watching us on your Apple TV or TV. We're going to put a QR code like right around here, and I want you to scan it. That's going to take you to our website where in less than 60 seconds, you're going to get a home evaluation for free. So please check it out. And that's the end of our sponsorship. Question number 13. How should the seller get prepared for negotiations in 2025?
This is a tricky one. I think at the end of the day, sellers are looking to sell for the most that they possibly can. But as we're entering the market that we're currently on, we're going to be seeing an influx of inventory enter the market. Buyers are going to start asking for more. So built into your pricing and to your net, you're going to see offers come in with buyer compensation and concessions. You're going to see that being built out from the gate, and sometimes even a reduction in the price. So just be prepared for that and know how you can counter these items so that all parties involved are happy with the outcome. But having realistic expectation and having that conversation ahead of time and not being surprised definitely helps, because then you know what you're going to see and what you're going to be receiving when you list your home. So being open, just be open to what's out there, and you're going to start seeing an influx of offers with price reductions and concessions on top of buyer compensation.
Yeah, I'll tell you, when you're evaluating a realtor, as you go into interviewing them, negotiation skills should definitely be one of the top 3 questions you ask your realtor, because you want to be asking them about their past experience or their most recent experience and negotiation skills, because that's going to come in very handy for you. Sponsor time. We actually don't have a paid sponsor. It's really just us by the Key Group. But if we're in a place that you feel you need a home evaluation, and you're probably watching us on your TV at home or your computer, and if you are, just grab your phone from next to you, flip it around. We're gonna have a QR code right around here. Just scan it. It's gonna send you to our website. It's gonna give you an evaluation of your house in less than 60 seconds. Now, if you happen to be on your mobile device or your tablet, just go to the descriptions below and click on the link. And in less than 60 seconds, we're gonna give you a home evaluation. And we could definitely reach out if we wanna find out more information about what your house is worth. Sponsored by the Keep Group. Question number 14. How do you handle canceled contracts and buyer cold feet?
This is tricky, because if you have a canceled contract, you have to see the reasons why. Is it because of financing? Was there something that they couldn't obtain? Was there an issue that couldn't be solved for? I think it's super important that when we're considering any offer, that you make sure that the terms of the offer and any obstacle along the way is cleared before you get there, so that you can avoid a canceled contract. I think the only real reason somebody should be canceling is financing, loss of a job, or something that they couldn't get to the closing table. But even with inspections, like, we should know what to expect when they're doing that evaluation of the property, and already have a game plan in set so that we don't have people walking away. At the end of the day, it's about negotiating, and it's about setting proper expectations and making sure that you cover those bases so that when they do occur, you already have an action plan.
Have no fear. Tamily is here.
So the best advice that I can give for someone that's looking to sell in 2025 is it absolutely 100% matters who you hire. make sure that the agent that you're choosing has a depth of knowledge with what's happening in the market, that they are strategically going over the pricing strategy on what's going to get your home to move and sell. Not only that, what game plan, what marketing plan are they putting together so that they can get the most eyeballs on your home. And if they can't specify or give you examples or walk you through that, and most importantly understand what your goals are and put a game plan together for that, then you're going to be sitting, and that is not what we want for you. So make sure that whomever you work with, and if we get the opportunity, we can definitely walk you through and bridge that plan together for you so that you can realize your end game and make that goal happen of selling your home for the best opportunity available to you with the current market that we are facing right now.
Yeah, 100%. If you want to net the highest amount of cash in your pocket, you got to make sure you hire correctly, right? That should be part of your interview process when you're interviewing agents for yourselves. I know for us, we do a very detailed job to making sure that we're presenting everything we can. Marketing, CMA, it's all part of the conversation. We talked earlier about negotiation skills, which is going to be becoming super, super important. And the emotional attachment, you got to separate that. That is super, super important. But you got to make sure you have a trusted agent to help you navigate those waters, because that could be a very big challenge for you. So that wraps up our 15 essentials, and we're going to move on to our next. Tampa Bay, we just covered Smart Sell for 2025 in Tampa Bay. We did a little bit of a market update for you guys per county. Let's talk about the flip side, because Tampa Bay is holding on steady, to be honest with you. There's a lot of interest. So let's break it down on why you should move here per county.
Well, Tampa Bay is definitely booming. There's a lot of attraction that's taking place in the area, and we'll start with Hillsborough County. We have Midtown Tampa, which is adding lots of retail spaces, restaurants, and luxury apartments and buildings into the area, which is phenomenal. Then we have our area in Pinellas, downtown St. Pete, also growing a lot with expansive retail, luxury residential areas and buildings. And then of course Pasco County with all of the development, especially Trinity and the Wesley Chapel area. There's huge master plan communities that are being developed in the area, more school options for families, growing families, and then all the healthcare facilities that are also being built within the area. So all of that influx of infrastructure, schools, residential, retail is definitely adding interest and why people are moving to Tampa Bay.
I'll tell you, I've been at a couple of places in Midtown. Me and my wife like going to a couple of rooftop bars. So in the comments, drop below if you want to check out behind the scenes on, some of the restaurants that are out here, so you get to see it. Our channel is mostly about model tours and some tips about selling and buying. But if you want to know a little bit more about what's happening in the scene in Tampa Bay, or Pinellas, or Hillsborough, let us know. We'll be happy to record some content because we love going out to those different places. But drop it in the comments and let us know what you're interested in watching. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. Do me a favor, send this to someone that you love or will find this episode to be a benefit to them. It would help us a lot. So thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you.